Around 6 months ago, I made a video looking at the vanilla version of WWE 2K24, and a lot of people really seemed to enjoy it. After seeing the response, I wanted to do the same thing with WWE 2K25. The idea for this video also came from a cruise I went on, where I ended up playing version 1.0 of the game and started noticing just how much had changed or been removed before the final release. Honestly, some of the differences are pretty surprising. Unlike 2K24's vanilla version, which was interesting partly because of removed wrestlers like Lesnar and Vince being playable, WWE 2K25's vanilla version doesn't seem to include any exclusive or removed wrestlers. But that doesn't mean there's nothing to talk about because the differences actually start before you even launch the game. They start on the console dashboard. Usually when you install a WWE 2K game, the dashboard tile shows the cover star, which for WWE 2K25 is Roman Reigns. But in version 1.0, Roman doesn't appear on the dashboard at all. Instead, the tile just shows the WWE 2K25 logo by itself. It's a small detail, but it immediately tells you that you're looking at an earlier build of the game. Interestingly, Roman does appear briefly once the game boots up, but on the Xbox or PlayStation dashboard, he's completely absent. When I recorded this footage, the game was still installing, so there wasn't much I could do besides playing one-on-one matches. But even with limited access, I still started noticing a few early differences. The thing which kinda caught me off guard was the start match logo. The final version showed the logo having a reddish-black glitchy background with a white outline, while the 1.0 version showed more of a bluish-red background and has a different font. Again, stuff like that to point out. I played a few matches while the game was installing, and I couldn't really find any differences or that many glitches really. One issue I did run into was trying to Irish whip people into the corner, as it would always end up Irish whipping them into the ropes, and while this was something that didn't bother me as much, it got annoying at times. The game finally finished installing, and now I was able to fully see what was different in the main menu. Surprisingly, aside from the island being absent and MyGM having a slightly different background image, almost everything else looks identical to the final version. Even the match type menu images were exactly the same, which honestly surprised me a bit. I then made my way towards showcase mode to see if anything was different or unpolished there. With 24's vanilla version, we saw images zoomed up too closely and the WrestleMania arenas not being named for matches. But in terms of the main menu, nothing too different caught my eye. The intro for the mode, which was just the ending for the WrestleMania 40 match between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, also stayed the same, albeit the match closing out a bit shorter in the absence of Roman's commentary.
Finish the story!
Everybody seems to think that WrestleMania 40 was the night the bloodline ended. But anyone who knows us knows that it's gonna take more than one bad night to bring us down. If anything, we're just getting started.
While showcase mode stayed mostly the same, I did notice a few differences. For one, the Steiner brothers reused their WWE 2K24 Legends Trons instead of the updated ones. I point this out because most of the Legends in this game got new space-type backgrounds and updated fonts for their Trons to match the 2024 stage designs. Interestingly, both Steiners use their updated Trons individually, but not as a tag team. Lighting in some arenas is also different, specifically the 2000 No Mercy Arena, 2007 New Year's Revolution Arena, and the 2017 Money in the Bank and Hell in a Cell arenas all have that light blue lighting in version 1.0. Some wrestlers reuse old assets as well. Becky Lynch 17 still has her 2019 The Mantron, and Charlotte Flair 17, well, she looks like an old grandma. Her default model also reuses her 2K24 Trons instead of the updated ones she got in the Day 1 patch. The Usos 17 don't even have their Trons in the game, and the New Day 17 use their current ones. Some of the new Legends Trons also look a bit unpolished. For example, Pierre Maivia and George the Animal Steel have Trons with different fonts, and I wouldn't be surprised if others have similar issues. The biggest difference I noticed in Showcase though was the Bloodline Arena at the end. In the current version, it takes place in an indoor stadium, all the Bloodline members are positioned like we saw at WrestleMania 22, and there are LED barricades. In version 1.0, the arena is outdoors and it's missing the Bloodline member images as well as the LED barricades. Moving past Showcase and into MyGM mode, everything mostly stayed the same, except the mode was just clunky. Like, it was slow and clunky, and it just really took the fun out of it. After that, I chose to dive into Universe mode, and there wasn't much that stood out as well. Aside from the outdated 2024 Raw Arena, I didn't really spot anything different. And speaking of arenas, the biggest part of the vanilla version that stands out from the final release is the arena selection. The most notable example being the Raw 2024 arena. This arena was originally intended to be the default Raw arena before it was updated to the 2025 version for release. In version 1.0 though, the 2024 Raw arena is still selectable and fully usable for matches. Even early screenshots of the game suggested we were gonna get this arena. But it's not just Raw. Other arenas, like the main event and Mixed Match Challenge arenas, still use the Tron designs from 2024, and a 2023 Payback arena from 2K24 is also available. While all of these arenas were made in the current version, the Trons were updated to match the 2025 designs. One arena that was removed before release is the Payback 2020 arena, which is part of the Thunderdome. I tested it in a Bloodline Rules match, but it acted strangely. The arena used the 2023 Raw graphics, and the LED crowd barely appeared because the 2023 Raw graphics replaced the original visuals, and the Superstars Trons would pop up during the match. I was initially confused why this arena in particular was even selectable in version 1.0 and not in the Day 1 patch, until I saw videos of it being used on the island. Still, it's pretty interesting that it's fully available for exhibition matches in this build. And lastly, the renders. In WWE 2K24's vanilla version, some wrestlers either had placeholder renders from 2K23 or didn't have renders at all. WWE 2K25's vanilla version is similar, but on a much larger scale. A lot of wrestlers either reuse their 2K24 renders, use completely different renders, or don't have renders at all. Here's the full list. Alexa Bliss, Andre Chase, Bayley, Becky Lynch 17, Candice LeRae, Carlito, Carmelo Hayes and Carmelo Hayes 22, Cedric Alexander, Channing Stacks Lorzono, Charlotte Flair, Chyna, Cody Rhodes, Cora Jade, Cruz del Toro, DDP 98, Duke Hudson, Eric, Finn Balor, Gigi Dolan, Giovanni Vinci, Indy Hartwell, Ivar, Jade Cargill, Jey Uso, who oddly uses his 2K22 render, LA Knight, Logan Paul, Naomi and Naomi 20, Noam Dark, Omos, Raquel Rodriguez, Rey Mysterio, Rikishi, Rocky Maivia, Seth Rollins' WrestleMania 40 attire and Seth Rollins 22, Shinsuke Nakamura, Stephanie McMahon, Tamina and Tamina 10, Triple H 14, and Selena Vega. Some of these have interesting details behind them. Carmelo Hayes' default model actually uses the render intended for Carmelo Hayes 22, which is just his 2K24 render, while Carmelo Hayes 22 himself received a completely new render. Naomi ends up getting a new render by release, while Naomi 20 loses hers entirely and gets replaced with an in-game model. Seth Rollins' WrestleMania 40 attire and Seth Rollins 22 both reuse the Seth Rollins 14 render from 2K24, though both would eventually switch to in-game models instead. A few of the render changes, though, are harder to explain. Rey Mysterio and Shinsuke Nakamura both had their renders changed, even though their attires stayed the same from 2K24. Batista is another unusual case. Despite using the same attire he had since 2K19, he still received a new render in version 1.0, and unlike many others, that render wasn't changed by the Day 1 patch. Mr. Perfect is referred to by his real name, Kurt Hennig, in version 1.0, which was removed before release. In total, there were 39 renders changed by the Day 1 patch. Out of those, 27 renders in version 1.0 were reused from WWE 2K24, 2 were reused from WWE 2K22, and 2, Triple H 14 and Naomi 20, were removed entirely. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.